actually had gone to an encuentro in Chiapas, and they did a report back at the Eastside Cafe that I'm a part of. And so I ended up being the mediator, or like not the mediator, the moderator. And I was like, the very last minute, I was asking them questions. And so I remember them. And so I saw Suli at another garden. And I said, hey, you're that girl. And can I, come to this garden? And she said, yeah, definitely. So I started coming around. It's been 7 years. And just recently, property owner is United Methodist Church. And I think it's been like, I don't know, like 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, 8 months.
Of them. I don't maybe like there's not hasn't been a lot of activity here. And the group itself has dissolved. So as they dissolved, the district or the United Methodist District, I still like need to get on that language, but that as they were gonna bring in another United Methodist Church or group. And so I think that what we needed to do was that we care about this space too much to let that happen, because I think that there's been so much community activity without the church that we felt it would be necessary that we respond in a way that's respectful, but also letting people understand that we not only want to stay here and be at the garden, but we also want to take over the property, including the building. So not everyone understood that. And there was a lot of people, I'd say like maybe up to 100.
Yeah.
Up to 100 folks who came for that stakeholder meeting. The representatives from the church didn't expect that many people. They're expecting like 10, like what, 10 people. They were just going to present to us like, oh, these are our plans. And once they saw that the community came through, were you there for that?
No, I wasn't.
Once they saw that, they knew what to do. They had to do the right thing. They had to be responsible and take a step back and give the stage to everyone who needed to speak to save this garden. And people were thinking that they're going to just take it away. But, there's a process, and making sure that people are, still have their roles in coordination of taking care of the garden. So there's a lot of people who explain that and explain the need for the garden and how it serves the community, the impacts to many different partners and groups who have come and participated here. But also, I went ahead and I got up on the mic and I talked a little bit. I mean, what I pretty much did, as I had my two little nephews running around. I had to go because one of them was running around, but he was very sick, and I had to take him to the hospital right after. I had to quickly talk a little bit about my experience in creating and co-founding a land trust in El Sereno, and how we needed to have something in response to developers obtaining and acquiring land in LA, and how they were displacing families, and a lot of the continuing the anti-gentrification work that we were doing at the space. And so we had successfully launched that. We had been around, it's been around for since 2020. So I talked a little bit about there is a possibility. And I wasn't, at this point, I wasn't talking to the representatives. My audience was the people. And I said, I feel like I'm preaching to the choir if I talk like why we need the garden. I think everyone understands why we need the garden. But what do we do from here on so that we can be stewards and co-owners, have collective ownership of this land? We could go ahead and build a community land trust, and we could also look at cooperatives. Just so as long as we, are under capitalism, like there's a model that's very close to what the type of work that we're doing here. This is the model that exists right now that a lot of grassroots organizations are utilizing right now. So I spoke on that Currently, we are a group of volunteers who are still meeting since February, and now working on like a plan, a timeline, and what does that look like? What does everyone's roles look like? We, just recently, yesterday, presented a proposal to the church and like, listed our partners, listed like programs that exist. So we've been doing the work, like we've been actively present here doing the labor, and hopefully they'll be looking at that as well as like working with Marianne from the Shumash Bear Circle, and seeing about Shumash participation in the land trust.
Right, right. And so this group is made up of individuals that are volunteers here at the garden as well as other partners. Can you mention some of the other partners that were at the meeting, possibly that were there?
Yes, yes. Radical Mothers, of
Mhm.
course.
Yeah.
Mini Nature Reserve. Mini Nature Reserve is another nonprofit, grassroots organization that uh, res- uh, does guerrilla gardening and like has different types of seeds, and when we talk about climate change, like we want to talk about soil health and seed saving, and they do a lot of that work. So they have a little plot in another part of the garden, as well as Mikop. And Mikop is very, very crucial and important to um, making sure that we strengthen and we have those ties to the extended community
Mhm.
and indigenous people from Mexico as well, who are being impacted by ice rates, especially right now.
That's right.
And so, we're in a time and place where people are getting kidnapped, and Mikop serves the specifically the Oaxaqueño Mixtec indigenous community, and they have a lot of presence here as Adriana does a lot of work with the food distribution, and they have that ongoing. And so I think that really, really speaks volumes. Like when we continue that partnership with Mikop, um, and serving their needs in their communities.
Right,
Um,
That's okay. What, maybe we talk about how Radical Moms is connected or the Oxnard Birthworkers, um, and having a space here, what it would mean to, and I don't think we're gonna like just throw up the what we're just gonna give up. I think we're gonna keep fighting, and I think that we've decided we've like locked ourselves down and said we're gonna keep doing this, and whatever it's gonna take. But as being a program that's here, or let's just say a group that meets here, what does that mean to having such a sacred space, to the mothers that are coming here, and what's the connection deeper than what I know you mentioned about mirrors and stuff, but
Yeah,
maybe expand a little bit more on that.
for sure. Yeah, I think for the mothers that have came here and their mothers, because there's been a lot of generations
Right,
that come
right.
here, like it's the kids, the moms, and then the grandparents, and sometimes even the great grandparents. So with that being said, it's like it's impactful in so many ways where we see like elders coming through and they're like, oh, I recognize this plan and this is for that, and it becomes a way to share knowledge, like another way of learning and connecting, and back to like finding mentors, right? So there's also not a lot of green spaces, and I know
Mm,
Jenny Lynn mentioned that too, where we can come and we know that the grass isn't being sprayed with pesticides, and so if your
right,
baby puts it in in their mouth, it's okay. It literally is just grass. It doesn't have all these other things in it.
right.
And there's so many other plants that are edible, right? And it starts to have that relationship of like, yeah, we're not separate from nature. It's not dirty. We're able to learn, and some of these like we already use in dry teas, and we just didn't even know what they look like, or
Hmm.
that's what a banana tree looks like, and
Yeah.
we don't even know what these plants look like. So it's back to the connections, right? So it offers us a safe space to land, a safe space to come, and we've had workshops here before with the Oxnard Birth Workers Collective, the Circle for Radical Mothers come here, and they're on the grass and talking, and it's such a safe space that brings inner peace. And also with knowing all the medicinal plants here, right? If you need something, you can just come here, get to know the plant, get to ask the plant what you want and what you need, and then harvest, right? So that relationship continues. And back to like what this machine has created and wants us to keep doing is like not to be in disconnection. So back to this radical space really of being, this radical space of like, yeah, there's plants that are in certain spaces, but they go where they want to be when they where they want to grow, right? So that is felt deeply here at the garden. And also being myself here, like I mentioned, living nearby, and as I was pregnant and gave birth to my son, I was so close to here, so walking around just felt really peaceful and familiar. That not a lot of places feel like that, where you can just not be on lookout. You don't have to be on watch out. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you mentioned the word dirty. And of course, I picked up on that because I feel like that word is so politicized because they call us dirty Mexicans. As women, they call us dirty. Like, and when you come to this garden, it reminds us that in fact we are beautiful and we are part of nature.
Yeah.
Just like this beautiful garden. And I think, you know, lately there's been a lot of talk about somatic this, somatic that, but I think a lot of times people don't actually know what they're talking about. And so would love for you to comment a little bit more on the somatic work that you do, like the sobadas, because we store a lot of the hurt in our space. And so I just know like it was very like life-changing for me when I went and I saw you for that. And I know that you've been helping so many different women with that and reconnecting with our womb. And just like it's important for us to reconnect with our womb, this is a form of reconnection being here in this garden. So just would love for you to share more about that.
Yeah. The word dirty. Saying that, I'm like, I'm giggling because I'm like, I didn't even like realize. But like, also, dirt is so important, right?
Yeah,
Earth
that's
is like,
right.
and it's this changing of the word, right? Like dirt and then earth, like right there. That's change right there. But it is so important. It's so important to have this rich soil and dirt that is being pulled away by.
So you're saying we should be dirty.
We should be dirty. We should smell ourselves and stop using fragrances that are not right for us, that are disrupting.
Oh man, I know my mom is looking
Some of
down
outfits
going,
here.
ay, ay, ay. Obsessed with cleaning. Go ahead.
Yes, and it's
But it
like,
was a good thing.
right, yeah.
My mom.
But it's so many things are rooted in patriarchal views of
Right.
like what it means to be clean. I'm doing quotes here, or and it's like a lot of like infantilization,
Yeah.
body parts. Like, but we won't get into that. But back to the somatic.
Maybe there's connections there too, because, you know, we've been immersed in this climate of like the Epstein list and the fact that
Oh yeah.
the, you know, the terrible news through the New York
Dolores.
Times about
Yes.
Fatima Chavez and then Dolores Huerta also letting us know about what happened to her. So yeah, I mean, I feel like we need to remember that our kids are sacred, right? And instead of sacred, right now they're being abused.
Yeah, and it is such sacred work to be raising life. It's all the capitalism and all the isms that are hard, that are pushing us down as we're trying to, you know, move forward. But with that being connection of like all the hurt happening, right, and somatics, and how much work it really takes to hold in our hurt is like wild. Like that,
Right.
how much we mask, how much we go on pretending and it's not there. Like that energy like could be shifted elsewhere. Like could be shifted to let go, to move through it, and that somatic feeling, right, of like feeling safe. Like there's no way to release something if we're not feeling safe.
Right.
And if we're overall just not feeling safe in this place, in this country, like how are we gonna even like be breathing? Like even guiding breath work is so challenging sometimes because everyone's like holding everything, and it's back to this like being nervous to show ourselves to each other, being nervous to show who we really are because all the judgment, and you know that goes on to like what we're supposed to do and all of that, right? But yeah, it's been really beautiful to see, and I see a lot of people that are trying to get pregnant, and to be honest, it helps me because oh man, this world can get really dark and heavy so quickly. But to know that there are people that want to bring
Yeah.
light, that are ready for that, or you know, at least think they are, and you know, we all think we are, and then we're not, and then we're back at it.
But
It's a
never
journey.
be.
It's
There's
a
no way to
journey.
ever be
You just gotta
Right.
jump in and do it. But yeah, so it's like these connections, right? Of like, how do we trust when we're not safe? And but if we trust and we and we let go what's in our belly, we go back to our gut instinct instead of listening to what we're told, it changes, right? And back to like the fragrances and things that I want to mention, and the food that we eat, right? It's like we're constantly being fed and exposed to all of these things that are also furthering our connection, right? Dysregulating ourselves, dysregulating our hormones. So then when we're trying to connect with ourselves, we're kind of even a little bit out of whack. So getting into that alignment is hard, right? But there is so much energy we all have that we can transmute all of that. So yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. I just start and reflect on my own journey coming here, but also prior to coming here as a cancer survivor. And I don't like to attach myself to the cancer word, but I just know that when I began the journey of clean eating and changing my life, I didn't have a garden to do it at. But when I get here, I realized that how much there was here of natural medicina that I was longing for. And the ability to let go and not hold on, understanding about that inflammation and how it's caused and cortisol, all those things that I started recognizing and acknowledging, I started realizing this place has become like my healing place, but not to take advantage of it, not to put into the soil all my negative stuff, what I was going through. And it's interesting because my nephews, so I've been here at the garden about 6 years now. And my nephews, because they're like, they're like the mirrors for me. They're young, I'm like, I just turned 70. And they'll tell me like, God, Dia, ever since you started going to the garden, like, you're just so different. And I was like, is that like a good thing? And they told me like, yeah, well, this is the other thing that my sister is a whole nother story. I'll tell you, because I go, oh my God, your nails are always so dirty. And why are you always wearing like jeans and boots? Like what happened? And that I'm cool with. I kind of come from that era anyway. I was always in overalls and braids when I was working on the mural in Chicana Park. But what I see is them reflecting those palabras to me, telling me like, wow, you really changed. And I think, yeah, because I I mentioned Darren. Darren knew me when I was the principal at the Rep High School. And I was like, I was kind of hard to deal with. I didn't look the way I look physically, the external part. I wasn't clean, I wasn't sober, but I felt I deserved to party hard because I was saving lives, right? I deserve it. But I was just slowly destroying myself and not taking care of myself. And it's the cancer that comes and appears, but it was a manifestation of a lot of different things that I have been going through, burying kids, working with violence in the street, my own self-destruction. But I reflected on something that you both said about, the generational trauma, the things that we come out of that contribute to self-destructive behavior. And the garden for me is just like the opposite of it all. And it's opened up so much more for me. So I'm real connected to it, but very committed to saving or rematriating. I mean, I really want that. Is something that it's a goal. And I've been in a lot of protests, a lot of, from the Baki, from the 187, Chicano Power, the Huelga, and Dolores, what happened with Dolores Huerta, was sharing a little bit with Ana and other friends, opened up an opportunity for me to sort of let go of some stuff that I experienced. And I came here to the garden to cry that day, that next day. And that night, I had to speak at UCSD on the patriarchy of Chicana Park. And it was kind of so it's been a lot of, self-reflection and opening up for me also.
Well, we talked about this and we mentioned that when Dolores admitted what had happened to her, it helped us both release like the shame of what had happened to us.
Right.
It was thematic, like a thematic shift, and so I just am really grateful to her for having the strength to do it. I think people question the time and whatever, and honestly, like that's messed up. Like, no one should ever question a survivor's time and where when they're able to share what happened to them, and some never do. So I would just say thank you for her having the strength to share what happened, and the other women who were kids when this happened to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have to mention also the other women and
Ana Murguía and Deborah.
Deborah.
Rojas.
Rojas.
Rojas,
Thank you, Darren.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So-
definitely. Oh, just
Go ahead.
really quickly,
Yeah.
like it definitely, like I think all of us, Chicanas and Chicano spaces, like we have to question that. We have to, and then we reflect on it too. And just like the Zapatista women, like in these revolutionary spaces, we have to set these terms.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like, and maybe what we can do here is like come up with our own revolutionary terms, like I think it's long overdue for, to create something, and to speak on it, like on accountability. There's a lot of that happen maybe in the past decade or so, like there's been more and more of that. And I think it's not always, I feel like it doesn't have to be bad, like there's definitely like mediation and restorative circles and these accountability circles that could be very positive, and that they
People
could.
have to be ready to be accountable because there's predators in this
Oh
community
yes.
that they try to pass it off like they're
Oh no.
fine.
No,
Right,
absolutely.
right.
No,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
I mean, when it like Zapatista women in their laws, they say rape and attempted rape is punishable. Like you're banned. So that's something that we definitely need to also talk about. But then I'm also like, looking at like both sides to it. Like
Right.
I'm looking at accountability as like evolving for us, like
Yeah.
an evolutionary process.
Yeah, and just bringing it back. I mean, I think all of this and that term accountable is really extremely important at all levels, even as we're faced here right now with the church
Yeah.
and the North District, basically not taking responsibility
Yeah.
and how they basically have abandoned the situation. And so, I know that the general meeting continues to happen on what day, Angela, and when is the
Every
group
Thursday evenings, and then
at 6 p.m.
at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And then we get together here Wednesdays from 2 to 4 and Saturdays from 9 to 2 to do garden work. But when we're here doing garden work, we're talking,
Right.
like we're hanging out, we're reminding each other, we're holding ourselves accountable to like the tasks, responsibilities at hand.
Right.
So it's good. It's good. Yeah.
And the Circle for Mothering, when do they meet here?
Tuesdays at 11, but more like 11:30. So we run on mom time.
Right, right.
Mhm.
And so they put a schedule out. You're on
Yes.
Instagram.
Every month it changes. Sometimes it take a break. I think it's really fun how they go with what is needed at the time. So
Right.
it's not like, again, back to the schedule, like it has to be every time. It's like,
And
okay,
and
this
and
feels
the
good
group
to
is open to all moms, right? Everybody can come. Yeah. So all right, that's great. Yeah, and so I don't know if you wanted to add something around.
Oh, just that we're gonna have a trade post coming up.
Okay.
If anybody wants to participate in the trade post and have your little stand, it's all
yeah.
barter, none of it's monetary. So
Right.
we're trying to be as anti-capitalist as we can.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love that.
As we prepare to step out of the sanctuary, because we're in the last few minutes of our lovely podcast session, let's make sure that we are able to be attuned with our daily movements and to look toward the horizon. We've talked about the struggle for the land, the sacredness of the birth room, and the accountability we have to one another. So for our final question to both of you.
So we always want to leave the community with a special thought from you. So when the children who are playing in this garden today, or the babies born into your care right now, look back at this moment 20 years from now, what do you want them to understand about the seeds we're planting today? And what is the one thing they should know about what it means to truly belong to the land and to each other? So any one of you can go.
Yeah, sure. So my values have many values. And one of them is like transparency, horizontality, compassion, have my own dichos as well as like a dicho from the Zapatistas. Actions speak louder than words. So, you may talk a good talk, but are you, reflecting that in your daily actions and doing the things that you said you would do and deliver them? But a dicho from the Zapatistas that's personally my favorite is lento pero avanzamos, and that's translates to slowly, but slowly we advance. And that under capitalism, like you were saying earlier, like everything is so controlled and with a time frame, and time is money, whatever. And so with this, it's more about taking care of ourselves and walking together, asking each other questions, and having grace for one another and understanding where we're coming from.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Fatima.
Yeah, for me, what you were sharing earlier, Socorro, got me thinking about just being accountable with the reciprocity with what we take, we must give too, with ourselves, with the land, with others. Like we're responsible for our actions. But I think a lot of myself is rooted in this like imagination. Like I love to imagine and I love to think of things that are not how things are not, and not to be like I love to daydream, but I love to daydream too. And I think that play and that fun is so important, and to put that, to like always encourage that children, it starts to break the boundaries. Like it just becomes fun. It becomes like every day. It doesn't become this huge task. It doesn't have to be that way. And that's one that I say a lot. It doesn't have to be this way. Like it can change so much. And when we're looking at nature right in that mirror again, like I feel like nature's having fun with it. Like a plant grows this way, oh, it's okay, I'm just gonna grow crooked and go to the sun, and it's okay, and like I'll drop my seeds there, and the next time it's gonna work out, and I'll grow there, right? So this fun, there is no mistakes, it's all like just right, the lessons happening. So I think as long as we stay that and rooted in what we believe and what we trust, which is like the elemental like connection with the earth, is like nothing is going to sway us from that. Like we can sway, but we're rooted, and we're not going to be torn and taken. So that's for me.
I just want to uplift that point about imagination, because I think that's the biggest thing that capitalism tries to take out
Oh,
is
yes.
imagination. And if we
Yeah.
cannot imagine another world, we cannot create it.
Yeah.
So that imagination is huge for ourselves, for our kids, our babies. So thank you for saying that.
Well, I want to thank you guys. It's been I wish we could just like keep talking all afternoon. Send Darren to get us some burritos and hang out.
We'll get one for you.
With love,
too.
Darren. We'll get you one. But I thank you again. It's been a real honor, and thank you, Anna, for your inspiration too, to continue to do this. In the spirit of matriarchy, we want to keep each other safe, we keep each other fed, and we keep the land free. And until next time, we will continue to connect, stay rooted, and remember to listen is to heal. And we want to thank our guests. We want to thank both you, Fatima and Angela, for sharing your time and your space, your energía. But we also want to thank our first guests, right? We want to thank Sulema Ramirez and Janelle
Bye.
Bailon, for planting the seed and getting this podcast going. You've been listening to Under the Avocado Tree, La Matriarca is Salvando Community Roots Garden. This is a joint episode between Que Madre and RAMA Blueprints. We also want to thank Community Roots Garden, the Circle for Radical Moms, the Oxnard Birthworkers, the Que Madre podcast, and the California Arts Council for their support. Thank you, Darren, for engineering and being with us here today. And gracias, and take care. Peace and love. And remember, all power to the people.
And the gardeners who are out here doing the damn thing. Taking care of the garden.
That's
You
right.
might have heard them in the background.
Yes.
Thank you to those gardeners. Anyway, peace and love, and many blessings to you, and continue to have good energy. Gracias.
Thank you.
Okay.
Cool.
Yay.
Yeah, that was great.
Okay.
Wow, you guys,
Really good.
really good.
Thank you.
Really, really good.
Oh man, someone.
Should I have not said the California Arts Council?